Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the West Coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Wow, what a day. What a day, what a day, what a day. Hey everybody. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. My name is Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice. Big D on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom and you at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. First and foremost, Monday-luya. It's the beginning of our work week, so I have to go to Big D and find out how his weekend was, make sure that he's okay, that everything's okay, the family's okay, everything is good, pets are okay, everybody is fine. Everybody fine?
Everybody's fine.
Okay, good. Did you have a nice weekend?
Weekend was good.
Okay.
So a bunch of family again, celebrated a family member's birthday party. So that was great to see everybody. And Nothing crazy.
Okay, nothing crazy. That's good. Now we get to the news that's of today, and it seems like everything's crazy. First, you have Democrats who, for some reason, always seem to have the violent rhetoric ready to go at a minute's notice when they don't like something that someone is doing politically on the right, conservatives, Christians. You know how that works. Why you do this? I don't know. Maybe because you have no original thought of your own, or maybe your original thought is always rejected by people, to which you have to somehow get really nasty and mean in order to convince people to do what you want them to do. It's just a really weird dynamic, and you should stop. And so we've got some proof of that coming up. Also, there's more and more people that are Democrats that are leaving the country, and it's funny. And then when they leave the country and they get to TV shows and stuff, and they start talking about the United States, of course they're trashing it because Trump, and you know how that works. And also, a lot of breaking news out there with regard to the cabinet meeting today and some of what was discussed. I don't know if people can handle what the administration is doing and the wins and how things are working out. It feels like they're just not, I don't know, they're having a problem with it. And the other thing is this: do we have a problem, Republicans, here in the state of Florida with regard to Florida's District 6, the special election to replace Mike Waltz, who was there for a bit in Congress, and now you have the Randy Fine race, and there are people that are looking at the state of Florida and saying, wait a second, is there something to be worried about here? Do we have, because some of the numbers are kind of freaking people out. Well, should they be? Ultimately, are you worried about these heavily red districts possibly going to Democrats here in the state of Florida? May I remind you who's running the show here for the Democrats?
Marijuana.
Yeah, we got Nikki Friesa. I don't know. Are you really worried? Well, some people are. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. All right. What else do we got going on here? Let's get to it. So Jasmine Crockett is a Democrat. She's a Democrat from Texas. She's a Democrat. So typically, if you have a Democrat, it doesn't matter what state you're from. If you're a Democrat, then when it comes to expressing yourself about politics and maybe your dislike of certain people, certain political ideologies, instead of going to the arena of ideas and presenting yours, and then they present theirs, and then you see what the American people want, it gets a little heated. Sometimes you got to throw a punch to win elections. That's not really what she said. Well, she did during a remark in an interview on NBC. There in the Dallas Morning News, a person was asking the question, how do you win elections in Texas if you're a Democrat? What do you do statewide? And then the conversation turned to Ted Cruz somehow. And
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. I think... Well,
let me just stop there. Okay, so there's the Democrat who says you just have to punch. You just got to start punching. Now, when you hear somebody say things like you got to start punching in this political environment where, in Austin, Texas, to be exact, there has been questions about possible incendiary devices at Tesla dealerships, or a specific Tesla dealership there, and the concerns about that, because some people get a little cray-cray when it comes to the political issues of the day, because you have so many people that want to convince you that somehow Elon Musk is, well, I don't want to say it. Do I have to?
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
I'll let the Hulk do it, and I don't see any. So you have people that are beside themselves and feel like there's no other way to stop what the American people voted for than to burn down dealerships, to talk about punching? Or is it just a Democrat that's just talking about politically? I mean, you should say that in the conversation. You should say politically punch. Don't say punch without saying politically punch, because
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching.
No, it's not. But anyway, what else does she say?
I think, and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder.
Talking about who was running against Ted Cruz at the time there.
Like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him. Like, at all. Like, you go clean off on him, right?
No. I don't know. Big D, does that... when you hear somebody say that, and it's in a political arena, or if you're talking about politics, Do you typically hear somebody use that kind of language, like say it that way, and not preface it by saying, I'm talking about politics or politically speaking, you know?
Or politically, figuratively, he needs to be knocked out or knocked off. But this is leading me back to the sad times where the Democrats were saying that Trump needs to be, you know what?
Right, exactly.
And then what do you know? 2 assassination attempts. So they got to watch the language.
Yeah, you got to watch the language. And it feels like it always comes from one side. It really is. And again, it's because that's what happens when politically you're desperate, when people don't want what you're selling. I mean, she was on like a podcast or something that was called the Tesla Takedown. And she was on there as well.
Politicians. So I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down.
Yeah, okay. So that's all she wants for her birthday is for Elon Musk to be taken down. Now, maybe what she doesn't realize is that when she goes onto a podcast and they're talking about taking down Elon Musk, this day and age with the left in this country, it's not, we would like to see Elon Musk stop hanging out with Donald Trump and maybe he should get rid of Doge and he should stop doing that. And no. It's about people and incendiary devices, unfortunately, at Tesla dealerships and burning and destroying and vandalizing. Stop it. And I guess there's no example of her there on Capitol Hill and when it comes to the rhetoric and the back and forth, it doesn't get really spicy there on Capitol Hill. It says,
you just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Well, there was that one time. There was that one time when there was the back and forth with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paulina Luna, and it really got out of control, and Comer, the head of the committee there, was trying to put in order. What else do I have to? I don't have anything else to slam. I'm slamming this gavel. What do I do? What else can I slam? A slamming fist? I don't know what to slam to make everybody stop. Yeah, it has become, with Democrats, it's become crazy town. And just one other thing when it comes to crazy town and the concern that people have. Look at. If you are a Democrat here in the state of Florida, for example, the big question is why? Okay. The other thing is, if you are a Democrat at all, you do realize that you have to stop believing that your party isn't progressive, leftist, socialist, dare I say Marxist. Prove me wrong. Your party. You may not be, but this is who runs the party. You have AOC and Bernie Sanders who went out over the weekend and they're going to fight oligarchy and together and the astroturfing that was going on where people are like, wow, these are big crowds. And then you come to find out that the crowds were actually paid crowds. Like they've been to a lot of different Democrat events and it was nothing like described. We'll get to that in just a second because Bernie Sanders did a fun interview over the weekend where he walked away and it had to do with AOC. Why would he walk away from AOC? I kind of did. But it's all about if this isn't you, and you're not progressive and leftist, and you're not into the violent rhetoric and all of this, then step away. Step away. Some people might say, take your party back. Literally take your party back to Bill Clinton. I mean, you don't even have to talk about JFK. You can even talk about Bill Clinton. You're not even the party of Bill Clinton. Although with Hillary around, it's like...
I am sick and tired.
I didn't even say anything. I just mentioned her name. And, well, you know... And then you have, I know, and then we're going to move on, and then Eric Doherty, the great Eric L. Daw on X, D-A-U-G-H, posted this just a little while ago, how at an event, Jamie Raskin, Democrat, issued a brand new warning to people at, I guess, what was it, like a town hall event or something? It looks like a town hall event. See if you can hear this.
They want to sweep in Panama. They want to bring in Greenland. They want to bring in Canada.
So we're talking about Republicans, Trump and Elon Musk. They want to bring in Panama, Greenland, and Canada.
Where Elon Musk incidentally was a citizen after he left his native apartheid South Africa, and it shows. And why? Because they believe that this new consortium will require a new constitution that would allow Elon Musk to run for president.
Can I just stop? Okay. If you couldn't hear that, let me tell you what Jamie Raskin, crazy Democrat, said, allegedly. I mean, this is what he said, but I'm just talking about the crazy part, being a Democrat, crazy Democrat. Well, if you're a Democrat, you're kind of a little cray-cray. So they want to bring in Panama, Greenland, Canada, talking about the Trump administration and into the United States, because they believe this new consortium will allow a new constitution to allow Elon Musk to run for president. Big D, is that the first time you've ever heard that one? We want to bring Panama, Greenland, and Canada into the U.S. Because they want to try to get Elon Musk to run for president one day.
That is the first, and I can almost bet you live here on air it will not be the last.
Is that what they're running? Like, is this the best you have? So the best you have right now, because you're so mad about finding waste, fraud, and abuse, that happens to be a lot of inside baseball stuff that was going on with Democrats and how you were using NGOs and money going out to different Democrats. And now you're all the cool things that you were doing with NGOs and getting money and using it against the American people for Democrats. All of that is drying up, and you got busted, you got caught. Now we know what's going on, and we're drying up the well. And now because of all of that, you've got this kind of crazy rhetoric, which is, we want to change the Constitution. No, we don't. I'd never even heard that one before. And then Jamie Raskin says it, and there are people in the audience going, wow, I mean, if Jamie Raskin says it, it must be true. No, it's not. Okay? If Jamie Raskin says it, it's probably off the wall, like you can imagine. You're hearing right there. All right, what else do we got going on here at Florida's Voice? What's up? Hit me. By the way, anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, and always the phone lines are open live 3 to 6 p.m. as we do this program across the state of Florida. We do appreciate our affiliates, and you can call anytime you want to talk about whatever. Hey, listen, the phone lines are always open, so whatever's on your mind, I'm cool with whatever, especially if we're talking about Florida politics like this. We've got the special elections that we're just a week and 1 day away from in FL1 and FL6, or CD1, CD6, however you want to say it, right? The special elections, one to replace Mike Waltz, and in particular, that's the one that people are focusing on, really nervous about, because as you look at it, you have a narrow advantage for Republicans. It's only 218 to 213. If you lost these two seats, Matt Gaetz, Mike Waltz, those particular seats that they were in, Florida's 6th congressional district and Florida's 1st congressional district, if for some reason those seats were lost, oh boy, we talk about tight. There's a lot of money that Democrats are spending. And we kind of half joked about it last week when we heard about some of the money that was being spent. I want to say tens of millions of dollars so far being spent on that particular race in general, the Florida 6th congressional district race. And the money that was being spent was like, wow, really? Is it that much? And are they getting anything for that? Well, Randy Fine, again today, got the backing of the support of President Trump in a Truth Social, where he did once again mention Republican Randy Fine, and important to have him win in that seat. But the early numbers have been interesting, to say the least. Eric Doherty, our own Eric Doherty, was reporting on this. Others have been talking about the disparity and the numbers and the early numbers, the fundraising. Democrat Joshua Wheel raised $9 million and has about $1.2 million on hand. Randy Fine raised about $987,092 on hand. And it's a district that Waltz and Trump won by like plus 20 something. I mean, it is a heavy red district. Like there should be no problem. And the early numbers, the mail-in numbers have been, listen, I'll say it, they've been impressive for Democrats. Does it mean it's a lost race? Does it mean that there won't be this rush next week, in-person voting, that will put Randy Fine comfortably into that seat? I mean, it seems that that's more than likely. But the money that's being spent, now listen, just because somebody is flush with money and they've got money of their own, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. So it is difficult to tell whether or not the money is paying off, but it is Florida. And when you have heavy Republican areas, it would be hard to imagine that Randy Fine or in CD1 that we're going to see a loss on the Republican side. That is difficult to believe. But suffice to say that when you have the early numbers that are close, the difference of hundreds of votes, people get a little worried. The Democrats currently outpacing the GOP in fundraising and early voting turnout. That's what we heard. And it could very well be a situation where everybody has to calm down, that it is conservatives. Republicans typically go out day of. They like to go out day of. And even though in a state like we have here in Florida, in many areas across the state, we are comfortable with the mail-in. But a special is different. And so we'll see. But there is something to be said about what Democrats can do with the narrative, where they can run and let people or have people believe that they are doing something that they're really not, like winning. Early on, early numbers, okay. But we will see. No one that I've talked to believes there is going to be a loss of either seat. I mean, I think one, I'm trying to remember that. Nina, check these numbers out because I'm trying to see if I'm right. I want to say that no one has, it's been 20 some odd years since somebody has lost a seat. Either one of those two seats. I mean, Republican has lost the seat. The last time a Democrat held the seat, I want to say it was 1989 for one and 1995 for the, 1996 for the, something like that. But again, suffice to say, let's see how it goes. You don't have to panic. Democrats are always going to make a big stink about it. They're going to try to take every advantage as far as the narrative. And if they feel like they have some place that they can kind of nudge in, but that's what they're going to do. So we keep an eye on those races, and it's going to be interesting to see what takes place next week on Tuesday. But there's a little bit of a buzz. All right. So we keep an eye on that in the state of Florida. Also, you know, one of the interesting stories that's out over the weekend has been that the name of Joseph Ladapo has come up a couple of different times with regard to him leading the CDC. Donald Trump's looking for a new person to take that seat, and the Florida Surgeon General could soon be on the top of the heap as far as being the top health official in the country. And even the governor was talking about Dr. Joseph Ladapo over the weekend because people have been talking about him being, and we've talked about it on this show. I don't know if it gets any better. If you're thinking about a CDC pick, why not take somebody else from the state of Florida? I gotta tell you, it does. It's awesome, and then it's like it's like that kind of big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see all of these Floridians who are going to the federal level, either at a cabinet position or possibly, you know, heading, I don't know, something somewhere federally, and they all leave the state. You have those mixed feelings where you're like, oh, that is the best pick. Joseph Ladapo for CDC would be absolutely, positively amazing. And then you're like, oh, but he's got to leave us. It's like, ugh. So you're like, and then you're like, oh. You know,
that's exactly what it is. Maybe not those exact sound effects, but that's the feeling.
No, it's exactly those sound effects. It's like, oh, that's what it is. So there's no doubt he would be fantastic. And the governor mentioned that, let's see if we have that. There it is. in an X responding to somebody who was saying that Dr. Ladapo would be the right pick for the CDC director. He said, Dr. Ladapo is all of these things, being transformational pick, a history-making pick, fantastic, right? He'd be all those things and has the courage and determination to do what's right when it's not easy. Ladapo as CDC director means that MAHA is not just an empty slogan. Wow. Meaning, make America healthy again. You bet. Doesn't get any better. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know that there have been some moves with some people around Trump in Trump's orbit. The counselor to the president, Alina Habba, making some headlines just a little while ago. We're going to get to that news in just a bit. And, you know, it's safe to say that, man, conservatives and Republicans are in such a fantastic position right now, whether it's here in the state of Florida or across the country. And it's going to all be about results. The talk is nice. This is what we're going to do. But are we getting tangible results? Yeah, the egg thing. Look, the eggs were going to come back. You have the egg-laying chickens coming back after, the devastation of the Biden administration and what they did to the egg-laying chickens. And now you have us back to normal or close to normal when it comes to the prices of eggs. We knew that was going to happen. What about some of the other things? When we come back in just a little bit, we're going to talk about some of those other things because there are big things going on. Also, some more news around the state of Florida. We'll have that, I believe. Is Michelle? I think it's Michelle Vesarina in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We'll have the latest for us coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipton Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, we do appreciate it. All right, coming up, some more of the wins from this administration. We'll have audio of the president and the cabinet meeting today. And also, I don't know if you're big into the 23andMe thing, if you ever decided that you wanted to see some of your ancestry through 23andMe, and you spit in the tube or whatever. I've never done it, so I don't know. Well, you might want to hear what's coming up, because the news is, I don't know, it's a little scary. Kind of. But I mean, I guess if you know about it, it's not as scary, but it's still, well, I'll explain. Anyway, coming up. All right, let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom. It's Top of the News.
Top of the News. Florida's headlines.
So what in the world's going on here in the state of Florida? What do we have? What are they following? Let's see. Michelle Vesarino's got the latest for us from the Florida's Voice newsroom. What's up?
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
Great news on gasoline, and the Florida Senate is advancing key GOP-led bills to help vets, children, rural communities, and efforts to clear the way for a Florida presidential library.
Nice.
But first, Florida Surgeon General is under consideration for a key health position under the Trump administration. That story tops our news at this hour. Joseph Ladapo is being considered as a potential candidate for the Centers for Disease Control. This comes after former Congressman Dr. Dave Weldon's nomination was retracted. Both Latipo and former Texas Congressman Michael Burgess are being eyed for the role. The White House pulled back on Weldon, who didn't seem to have enough support from Republicans. Governor Ron DeSantis is already endorsing the idea, posting to his social media that Latipo, quote, has the courage and determination to do what is right when it's not easy. Latipo has been Florida's Surgeon General since 2021 and reconfirmed to his post again by DeSantis in 2023. He is an advocate for removing fluoride from water systems and recommends people not take the COVID-19 mRNA vaccines. Now for an update from Tallahassee, where Republican leaders are touting their legislative agenda as moving forward with support from lawmakers. Among the bills they are highlighting include bills to improve business growth and infrastructure to rural communities with Senate Bill 110. Another bill that is getting support is Senate Bill 116 that expands services for veterans. Senate Bill 7012 looks out for kids in foster care, making sure the workload on child welfare workers is addressed and improving resources for kids at risk. And we can't forget about Senate Bill 118, sponsored by Senator Jason Broder, who is making sure that a presidential library encounters no local ordinance problems when it's time to build the facility. And finally, some good news for your wallet. Gas in Florida is 16% less than it was a year ago at this time.
Yeah.
The average price for gas is $2.96 a gallon. A month ago, it was $3.08. Now, there are parts of Florida like South Florida and in the Big Bend region where prices are slightly higher than that, but in Southwest Florida and in the Panhandle, it's $2.90. And Drew, we definitely like these numbers.
Yeah.
Coming up at 4:35, Democrats are putting up a fight in that Congressional District 6 race, where Randy Fine is going head-to-head with Joshua Wheel. I'm Michelle Besserina for Florida's Voice. Drew, let's toss it back to you.
All right, consider it tossed and caught. And there you go, something like that. All right, Michelle Besserina in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories that she and others are working on there, you can go to flvoicenews.com. That's the website. And right there, you can check it all out for yourself. All right. Big D, 23andMe. 23andMe. Have you done 23andMe? Did you ever spit? What do? You spit in a tube and off your information goes? Something like that? Did you ever?
Something like that. You swab the inside of your cheek and send it off. I've never done it. I don't plan to either.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. Did you know that 23andMe was trending on social media this morning?
No idea.
Okay. But you know of it, obviously.
Yes.
You swab or you spit or you do whatever you do. And next thing you know, it's somebody far away has your DNA and they say, oh, look at this. You're, I don't know, a quarter this and a quarter that. And, you're Native American. You can call yourself Pocahontas. No, that's not really. That's a whole other subject. But anyway, so 23andMe filed for bankruptcy, proposing to try to sell all of its assets for consumers who have provided genetic data to the company for testing purposes. Here's what you need to know. That was the story from the Wall Street Journal, and everybody's like, excuse me? Yeah, so 23andMe's gone bankrupt, and now there's a concern about you deleting your data, your DNA information. Everybody is like, are you serious? You can't be serious right now. No, we're very serious.
Genetic testing company 23andMe has now filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The firm, valued at $50 million, is pushing for a buyout. So far, the board has rejected all offers, now saying a court-supervised sale is the best path forward.
Oh, boy.
23andMe will continue operations during this process. This, of course, comes just one day after California Attorney General Rob Bonta issued a consumer alert about the potential of this very thing happening, reminding customers to consider invoking their rights to have 23andMe delete their data and destroy genetic samples.
Well, there's that. So a couple of things about the 23andMe destroying your genetic data and all of that, because some people might be, well, it was totally worth it to find out about my background. There's something to be said about the unknown. D, sometimes it's fun not knowing things. Like, do we all? All right, this is a weird way of putting this, but why do we always?
No, I agree with that. I don't know where you're going with this, but I agree with you.
Okay, so follow my lead on this. And then, look, I'm trying to make light of something that's really serious, and it gets even worse. Wait till you hear the California Attorney General, what he said in 2022. It gets serious. Why do we have to know everything. And I'm not talking about the conspiracy theory like JFK, MLK. Like I want to know about all of that and COVID and Jeffrey Epstein, all that kind of stuff, right? And why Disney decided that they had to completely change Snow White. Like, why couldn't you just stick with the script? If you would have just stuck with the script, you would have a massive hit. Great whole story there. I digress. But why do we have to know everything? Like, all right, there's something to be said about, your great-great-grandfather told your grandfather's story about blah, 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 and your family history and everything. And it's kind of nice. And you kind of run with that, or I don't know, just a lot of different things. It just feels like people just have to know everything. Does that make sense? Is that where you thought I was going, or?
It's not where I thought you were going, but I agree. It makes total sense.
Where did you think I was going? Because you were kind of...
I had no idea. I couldn't even think of where you were going.
Okay, good. I don't know. It's just, we live in a world, in a society, where we just have to know everything. I've got to know every single thing about everybody, and I got to know everything about my neighbor, and I need to know their family history, and I don't know. Maybe sometimes it's like, maybe I don't. Maybe I just need to focus on me and my family. And I don't know that. I'm just trying to make a broader issue out of it. But that's where I was going. Not as funny as you thought it was at the very beginning.
Not as funny, but I totally agree with you.
Okay, good. All right, let's take the humor out of it, because it's going to get very humorless in just about it's going to get humorless as soon as you hear the audio of the California Attorney General in 2022 when he was talking about 23andMe in 3, 2, 1.
There are now weapons under development and developed that are designed to target specific people. Right, that's what this is, where you can actually take someone's DNA, take their medical profile, and you can target a biological weapon that will kill that person or take them off the battlefield or make them inoperable. So you can't have a discussion about this without talking about privacy and commercial data. And the protection of commercial data, because expectations of privacy have degraded over the last 20 years. Young folks actually have very little expectation of privacy. That's what the polling and the data show. And people will very rapidly spit into a cup and send it into 23andMe and get really interesting data about their background. And guess what? Their DNA is now owned by a private company and can be sold off with very little intellectual property protection.
No, that wouldn't happen. I mean, 23andMe wouldn't go bankrupt or anything like that. They've got 15 million people who... Well, that's another weird thing. They've got 15 million people that have used the service or subscribed to the service. Where's all the money go?
Protection or privacy protection, and we don't have legal and regulatory regimes to deal with that. So we have to have an open and public discussion, and this is going to have to be a political discussion.
Hold on, let's just stop for a second. Can we go back to the genetically speaking, that there are some countries that might want to do us harm, that could get a hold of genetic information of individuals and possibly have some kind of, weaponry made that would be biological, that could take certain people out with certain markers genetically because they see... That's the part that freaked me out. But anyway, I guess the serious, intimate, specific picture is 23andMe goes out of business. Don't spit in the cup. Don't swab the thing. Just, if your uncle said, yeah, your great-great-great-great-grandfather was George Washington, just run with it. It doesn't matter. It's okay. All right, just whatever. And don't bring it up at parties. Just forget it. It's like, okay, great-great-grandpa he might have been a little nutty. We don't have any relation whatsoever. Just forget about it. But on the serious issue, then there is the biological, come on. Countries wouldn't be manufacturing biological weapons to use against individuals politically, or nations, or the globe. Okay, and then there's the 30,000-foot view, which is we freely, and I'm going to move on, I promise. We freely give our information all the time. In 22, that was the Attorney General of California who was saying we freely, the millennials and Gen Zs, they freely give information out all the time, and we do. And it's our fault. I mean, from social media on. I mean, look at Facebook and all the things that you give away and all the things that you do and you don't even know it. It's like, hold on a second. Wait, honey, I just gotta post this on Facebook. Can't wait for our 3-week vacation to the Bahamas. If there's anyone in the neighborhood that can watch the dog, that would be awesome. D, tell me I'm wrong. D, tell me I am wrong.
I can't.
We do it all the time. That always amazes me. When I see things like that, it's like, don't ixnay on the tripskay, or however you'd say that. Like, don't talk about that. But we do.
The one that really gets me, and I don't know if this is 100% relevant, but it's a boy, it's a girl signs on the lawn out front.
Why does that get you?
Just sharing all that information. Everyone knows there's a baby there. Apparently it like spikes the amount of like chance of a kidnapping when you advertise you have a new baby in the house.
Oh boy. We're really going down this road today.
Yeah, it's a little dark here, but we'll get out of here.
All right, let's get out of the darkness. Let's get into the light. What else do we have going on here on Florida's Voice? Yeah, I don't know. Hit me with some lighthearted Florida news. Do we have any lighthearted? Actually, most of it is pretty serious. No, there has to be. All right, let's hit you with this. This is kind of good news. Pinellas County tourism breaks records after back-to-back hurricanes. How about that for resiliency, everybody? How about that for, listen, the comeback, what we do well here in the state of Florida? Visitors contributed a record $8 million to Pinellas County's tax coffers in January, 3 months after Hurricanes Helene and Milton decimated the area. And the likely number is going to be trending higher as tourism officials await over 1,400 room openings, mostly by the end of the summer. I mean, it's booming here in the state of Florida. We're doing well, and that's great news and good to see. And a reminder that, yes, we do prepare for hurricanes here in the state of Florida. Yes, we know how crazy weather is across the state, especially during the summer and during the hurricane season, and the things to be prepared for, and even some things that we weren't even prepared for. But, you know, they happen, and we are a resilient bunch. And to see this is just good to know that if you're asking how they're doing, let's say in Pinellas, after the hurricanes, and, you know, there's still work to be done, but people still want to be here. And it's a combination of both, of how there are people who know what has happened, still want to be here, and want to come here to help, to make sure that it doesn't get depressed in any way when it comes to the amount of tourism that we would expect all across the state of Florida. And then the other side of it is the fantastic story of resilience and coming back and getting ready and how awesome a state we are. That's it. So I just wanted to put that out there. So there you go. All right. So we went from a little dark to some positive news out of Pinellas County. It's good stuff. All right. Anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook, it's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I will be mayor tonight, and I'll be mayor tomorrow morning. I'm asking and imploring the governor to come down and give us help. We are abused, and we are threatened and frightened each day by these public officials who do not recognize the residents at all.
If he wants to be the mayor, at this point in the process is the only way that he can be on a ballot is to have residents write in his name. If people really want a new voice and they feel that he's their guy, then go vote. It's a free and open election.
Big D, is this a joke? The guy who created the snack Pirate's Booty is staging a mutiny in a village in Long Island. He declared himself the mayor and he tried to fire the staff.
I didn't see this.
What? So that's what they said. It's Seacliff is where it was. And that's him talking about how he's now the mayor and the incumbent mayor is talking about the situation. And she's like, listen, if you want to run, you can run, but you can't just become the mayor. I mean, like, is he taking the pirate booty? Is he taking the pirate part of the pirate booty thing a little too serious? I mean,
it sure sounds like it.
What is that, dude? You make puff snacks. What are you doing?
They're good. Not good for you, but they are good.
No, I haven't had. Are they like cheesy puffs? Is that what they're like?
Super cheesy. I guess it's more like a puff than a popcorn. Yeah, it's like a cheesy puff.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them. I've seen them in the stores, but I haven't had one.
But because they're not good for you, that's why.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Are they good enough that if you had enough of them, you would think you could run a small village in New York?
We'll have to run an experiment.
Why? All right, do me a favor. Nina.
If I eat a whole bag and I declare myself mayor of that village, then you have a confirmation.
No, better than that. I'm going to have Nina do it. Nina in the breaking newsroom. Nina, I want you to eat a bag of pirate booty tonight, and then I want to see if you can run for mayor in your town. See if it works out for you.
Report back to us.
Report back to us. Let us know how it goes. And
we're going to see Nina on the breaking news.
And I demand that you go out, walk the streets with a sash, and tell her that says mayor on it. How do we pull that one off? All right, let's move on. What else do we have going on here? President of the United States had a cabinet meeting today. The EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announced that he canceled some money that was going towards an NGO. What did he say about it?
EPA has now canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts. $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to. They received only $100 in 2023.
What?
And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion. So $20 billion went to just 8 NGOs, and they're all pass-throughs. And then they were giving it to other entities. Many of them were pass-throughs. And what you have is all these extra middlemen, they're taking their cut. And the taxpayer ends up getting screwed. They're losing out on all this hard-earned money.
Maybe the middlemen are eating pirates' booty or something. Maybe they think that they run the play. Maybe the judges, these radical judges that are trying to take over the country, maybe they've been eating too much pirate booty. Is that what's going on here? So that is the EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. $2 billion went towards an NGO with ties to Stacey Abrams. It was like $100. They only had $100 in the first tranche of money, and then there's an extra $2 billion. Wait, what? What is going on? That's insane. All right. There's a lot of breaking news going on today that we are following. By the way, our own Eric Doherty, if you follow him at Eric L. Daugh, D-A-U-G-H on X, was reporting just a little while ago that Republicans can start to breathe a sigh of relief in Florida's congressional district seat 6 and district 1 as well. They're currently surging in the state. 2 vacant seats formerly held by Republicans in the early voting. And he's saying that surging in relation to what was previously not an amazing performance in the mail-in voting is what we talked about as we opened the show, and in relation to the volume that was low. So it's starting to turn around again. So there is a little bit of a sigh of relief because it looked like Democrats were really surging, but they're not.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it. No way.
No way. No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D is on the other side of the glass. I'm sorry. I'm pointing at Nina. I'm sorry. Big D's over there on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the breaking news room, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, Brendan Leslie's going to join us from Florida's Voice and talk about something that he wrote about at flvoicenews.com. Pretty interesting stuff when it comes to the public defunding, the defunding of NPR and PBS. He had an interesting perspective on this because there's a lot of Doge-style efforts that are being talked about here in the state, talked about, obviously, on a federal level, which, by the way, speaking of Doge, Elon Musk, and, there are some people who are gleeful, believing that Tesla and Elon Musk are going down. They're going down. Tim Walz was talking about that just the other day, and I'm trying to remember if I have the audio or not of Tim Walz, who wanted to be the vice president of the United States. You may or may not remember that part of it. And
I'm a knucklehead at times.
You betcha. And he was talking about loving going on to his little app there and seeing that it was doing really poorly and how cool that is. No, that's not cool at all. Well, apparently, this just in. Hold on.
Breaking news.
A bombshell. No, this is like real breaking news. It's not like the funny breaking news bombshell that we usually do. Tesla stock has surged 11% today. There are a lot of people who want to see it tank that are really frustrated politically with things that are going on with Elon Musk and Doge and trying to find waste, fraud, and abuse. And the only way that they can stop it is to do crazy things like destroy property and act really crazy in front of people who have Teslas and keying cars and, walking up to somebody and saying, you should sell this car. How dare you have this? And then keying it. Does that make you go, oh yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I'll get right on that. So remember that Tim Walz, who wanted it to tank, but whose state holds Tesla in its portfolio. I think he's probably feeling pretty good now. Like, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't really want it to tank. I just. All right. So there's other news that's breaking. We're going to get to in just a little bit. Brandon Leslie, I think there he is. Is he there? Let me see. Oh, there he is. Okay. He's joining us today on Florida's Voice Radio. And how are you, sir? You good?
Not bad, but we got to take down some lefties, if you don't mind.
Not bad, but we got to take down. I like your attitude. I like that. We got to take down some. Politically speaking, that is. We're not talking about punching anybody because that would be ridiculous. Not that anybody would ever say that. Well, maybe a Democrat or two might say something like that, allegedly. I have the audio. All right, so I know that we have been talking about Doge-style politics here in the state, things that we should be doing. A lot of people in Tallahassee have been talking about that. The governor's been talking about that. But you have some thoughts on maybe some other things we should take Doge-style to, if you will. Well, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Florida is definitely a deep red state now, and we talk about all the time, Drew, on this show about how Republicans should never become complacent. And now that we have the strongest supermajorities in both Florida House and Florida Senate that we've ever had in Florida's history for the Republicans, it's time to, really finish off the Democrat Party here in Florida. And one of the things that they can do is look at these reoccurring appropriations that are put in the budget every single year to the tune of $6 million to public radio stations, public television stations, including NPR and PBS. Republicans really should consider this year completely slashing that funding to $0. They should give $0 to these news stations. And I'll tell you why, Drew, because these news stations, allegedly news stations, are just biting the hand that feeds them because they are putting out left-wing headline after left-wing headline, attacking the governor, attacking the legislature, attacking President Donald Trump. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm just looking at some of the examples that we highlighted on flvoicenews.com today. And I mean, they are literally defending transgenderism, and they almost went as far as accusing Governor Ron DeSantis of being the reason that someone who died of a health condition a few years back, after a meeting with the governor's team, almost like accusing the governor of being the reason that this guy died. Like, they have done some crazy stories that's really just not in line with Republican values. And us as the taxpayer who has overwhelmingly voted in Republican control in Florida, we really should be asking the question, what kind of return of investment are we getting on this money, our money that we're spending to fund these left-wing organizations?
I don't think people realize that we were doing that here in the state. I think you may be saying something right now that there are people listening to the sound of our voices are like, I had no idea. I didn't know that was happening here. I thought that was only at a federal level. Speaking of the federal level too, isn't the FCC like looking into NPR and checking them out, right?
Yep. The Trump administration has launched an investigation into PBS and NPR to see, I forget off the top of my head exactly what specifically they're talking about, but they are looking into should the federal government be giving federal dollars to these organizations. Here in Florida, I'm not here to bash any Republicans or Governor Ron DeSantis for giving them money, because once upon a time, PBS, NPR, like, there was a need for them. Like, they were a somewhat decent organization, and this is a reoccurring appropriation. So this is something that was set, I don't know how long it's been set for, but every year it's just kind of re-added to the budget. It's just kind of like a standing operating cost here in the state of Florida. So I know I'm going to give a shout out to Senate President Ben Albright, because me and him had discussions at great lengths about this, that one of the things he wanted to do in his 2 years as Senate President is look at all these appropriations that for years have been just added to the budget and see if there's still an ROI to them. And there's so many of them because the budget is so big. We're talking about $116 billion worth of a budget. But it's important that every single year we have this type of Doge-like mentality to look at these reoccurring appropriations, because if there is no ROI, then you should just slash them, because that's $6 million that can go to something that's way more important, such as things that could help with property insurance issues here in Florida, I don't know, there's just so many things that they could be spending that money on rather than these left-wing news organizations.
I think that's an interesting point that you made there with regard to these reoccurring expenditures that are in the budget. Because when people will say, and Democrats have said, oh, when you're talking Doge-style issues or Doge-style look into what we've done here on a state level, so what are you saying? That you're wasting money? That there's some waste, fraud, and abuse? No. This is what we're talking about, that maybe there is some reoccurrence in the budget that we can examine and find out whether it should be there or not. There are places that we need to look and go. And I've said it a million times. I've said it to you a million times, how I don't have a problem auditing things. I'd like to know where the money's going. I don't care who's running the show here in the state. I don't care who's running it locally in my local municipality or on the federal government side. I want to know where my money's going, and I don't have a problem auditing, and I don't have a problem with the Doge-style auditing to see what's happening.
It's not necessarily like it's a waste of money. Florida does a pretty good job in safeguarding the taxpayer dollar. But let's just bring it home for a second. How many times, Drew, have you signed up for something that you wanted to use at the time, whether it was like a subscription to an online streaming service or maybe an app on your phone? And you're like, wow, this is great in the moment. And then 6 months down the line, you're like, you're reassessing your monthly expenditures. You're looking over your credit card bill. You're like, hey, I haven't used this in 3 months. Maybe we should cut ties with this. It's just like that. That's what the reoccurring appropriations were. There was a time and place where this money was being spent for good things. But I'm starting to think today, 2025, that PBS and NPR do not have the interests of the Florida taxpayers at heart. So meaning there is no ROI for us. So we shouldn't be funding their bills. We shouldn't be funding their operation. You know, Florida is not one of those states that likes to sit back and watch idly by while progress is made across the nation. We lead on issues here in Florida. We fought DEI. We fought the woke issues. We're fighting so many other things. And we have so many great lawmakers and Republicans that are making this come true. They should also lead on defunding NPR and PBS. If you are serious about sending a real message, you should cut the funding out of the budget this year and tell them what's up.
And if you want to find out more about this story, you can go to flvoicenews.com because it's right there. There's a whole story about all of this. As Florida lawmakers eye Doge-style efforts, they should start by defunding NPR and PBS, and read more about what Brendan Leslie wrote right there. All right, sir. I'm going to go, and I appreciate you stopping by. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just weird, like treating, like he's the founder of Florida's Voice, and he's my boss. So there you go. So it's like
let's make some T-shirts, Drew. Defund NPR. Okay,
we'll make them. I'm on it. Nina's on it. She's also making a stash because she's going to eat some pirate booty stuff and see if she can run for mayor of Babcock Ranch or something like that. I don't know what she's doing. It's a long story. You have to go revisit the last hour to understand what
I will go.
Yeah,
I'm going to go watch it right now.
Yeah, go do that. Okay. All right, there he goes. That's Brendan Leslie. He is the founder of Florida's Voice. And and she said, and Nina also said some anti-Snow White shirts. Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Because Disney, you had it easy. I mean, you've been making a lot of these remakes of Moana 2, and I think there was Inside Out 2, and I think there was a Deadpool 2 or 5 or 8. I don't even know how many. Big D, how many Deadpools are there? Is it like Deadpool 4, or is it just 2, or I don't know?
No, I hope Brendan's not listening anymore, but I have no idea.
Okay, good. All right. What, would he get mad at you for not knowing this?
I think he's a big Deadpool fan.
I don't know anything about Deadpool. But anyway, the point is that Disney had it good. All you have to do is just take the script that you wrote that was successful to begin with, work around that, and you've done that, and you've succeeded with that. When you have something as iconic as Snow White, all you had to do was redo the same script, remake it. That's what everybody wanted, but instead, you decided against that, at which time people looked and said, yeah, we're out. And so for those that don't know, Snow White performed even worse than people thought. They were like, all right, well, it cost, 100 something or 200 million to make. It might do like, 80 to 90 million. Then it was like, I don't know, maybe it'll do like 60 million. And, maybe it'll do 50. How much did it do? 43 million? So it did 43 million. It cost 200 million plus to make. And then they were like, well, let's go overseas and sell. And now, for those that don't know, Disney decided to wokeify and just destroy Snow White, the original story. And apparently for those people that did go to see it, the way they described it, I'm trying to think of how I can explain this to you. So the way they described it was, it looked as if they knew that what they had done before, the wokeness was, they had to get rid of it, but they quickly cut and spliced and put pieces in there to make it look more like the original story, but it was just a mishmash and a hot mess. An enormous failure. Disney Snow White, which cost $250 million to produce, raked in $43 million. Yep, that according to AP. And not just that. Again, I don't want to say get woke, go broke, but hey, if it fits. The other part is that there are these left-leaning websites like Deadline that said, the reason why this happened is because all the conservatives decided not to come out because they were the ones that were talking smack about Snow White. They were the ones that caused the trouble to begin with. And if they wouldn't have done that, everything would have been fine. And the fact of the matter is that you look at all the places across the country, these conservative areas, nobody's going to come out to see the movie. So in the Democrat areas, they all came out. In the conservative areas, they didn't. So is that true? I don't think that's exactly how it went down. And it was Red State who had an article about this, Brad Slager there at Red State, who was like, dug into the numbers. And check this out. It looks like that that more people in red areas, don't get crazy. It wasn't like a lot more, but there were more people that came out in the red areas of the country, Republican-leaning areas of the country, than did the left-leaning side, the blue cities, the blue counties. Yeah. So it was pretty close. The studio lost its ability to spin what they were trying to describe. Family and animated movies ticket sales come from 63% blue counties and 37% red counties, while their attendance stems from 60% blue counties and 40% red counties. That means that Snow White, with 40% ticket sales and 43% admissions from red county-based cinemas, over-indexed in such locations. So basically, what he was trying to put out there was that the narrative's lost. The red counties did a little more, but pretty much everybody was really bad. So the question becomes, with this kind of colossal misfire on something that should have been so easy to nail, like it's Snow White, you take the original story, you do, boom, it's like money, money, money. That was kind of weird. Sorry. That's all you had to do. And they chose not to because woke. In the long term, will they see this, understand what happened, not spin it and go, you know what? Let's just, quote unquote, stick to the script. See what I did there? Just stick to the script. Get it? Yeah. I don't know, but we'll see. All right. What else do we have going on? Hey, speaking of Hollywood and what Hollywood's been doing. Oh my, it's crazy. On the heels of so many that are leaving the country. Because, you know, there are, well, did I say so many? All right, so there's a few Democrats who put their life where their mouth is when they said, I'm leaving the country if Trump gets elected. Which, of course, is cuckoo on its face anyway. But they did. People like Rosie O'Donnell, who left, went to Ireland. And she went on to TV there. And of course, when you're already upset about what's going on here in the country and you've moved out of the country and you've got TDS beyond control, then of course, if you're getting a chance to be interviewed on TV in the new country that you're in, who may or may not be fans of Trump either, then you say things like this.
You know, a lot of people did vote for him.
Yes.
Do you accept their right to do that and their opinion of him?
Well, I respect their right to do that. I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state.
Oh, well, we're off to an interesting start. So there's Rosie O'Donnell, who is an election denier? Huh. Okay, go on.
And is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet.
Big D, on the other side of the glass. Who's she talking about? Who runs the internet? His friend.
He's friends with Al Gore?
I didn't know that. That's news to us. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Everybody knows Al Gore invented the internet. No. Okay, let me play that again, D, and you tell me again. All right, so this is Rosie O'Donnell talking smack about the United States because she lives in Ireland now, and she's got TDS beyond belief, and she said...
Well, I respect their right to do that. I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state.
Election denier.
And is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet.
Biggest donor owns and runs the internet. Who is that? Who is she talking about?
Is she talking about that the CEO of Tesla, that guy?
No, she can't be talking about Elon Musk because he doesn't run the internet. I mean, how could he? He's busy with other things. He's busy with Doge and doing all the things that Nazis do. I don't know what they do, but yeah, he's got to be very busy. How does he have time to run the internet? I mean, he's got a couple of people that run the internet, probably, but how do you run the internet? Who's running the internet anyway? Now it's getting creepy.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Is she talking about Elon Musk? Like, really?
Gotta be.
Okay. Let's see what else does she say.
So I would hope that would be investigated.
We have to investigate that. I agree. We need to investigate how Rosie O'Donnell got the idea in her head that Elon Musk runs the internet. Can we do something about it? What do we do about that?
And that we would see whether or not it was an anomaly or something else that happened on election night in America when Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her. And Donald Trump was not able to do that.
I'm sorry. Wait. D, hold on.
What?
Well, maybe she had a few too Guinness. Or too many Guinness. No,
she must have not tuned into any of these rallies.
Because you can't have too few Guinness. Oh, Guinness is so good. Maybe she had a few too many stouts there in Ireland at the bar before she showed up at the TV station. So I just want to get this straight. So Rosie O'Donnell thinks that Kamala Harris had tons of people showing up at her event and Donald Trump didn't have any at his event. Okay. I don't even want to get into the Kamala Harris showed up at music concerts story. You know, like the reason why people were showing up at her events was they weren't her events. They were concerts. And then she showed up after the fact. Like, but then the idea that nobody showed up to see Trump. Do you want to, before I finish out this clip of audio, do you want to put a punctuation on this? Like, what was she thinking? What
was she watching? Who was she listening to?
What country was she living in?
Stadiums were absolutely packed with Trump rallies.
I know. I don't know what
there wasn't space to walk around.
I don't know what she's talking about. All right, let's finish it out. What does she say?
So it's curious to me. And as an American and a believer in democracy, I would hope that we would be able to look at all of the reasons why this happened.
So, you know, I understand that even lefties in the state of Florida get super frustrated about Trump being president. And it's so cool. But that could be you. You just don't have the money to leave. And that's crazy. Like, you shouldn't do that. That is beyond belief. And even with George Clooney, who was on 60 Minutes, and we'll play that audio later during the show, who wants you to believe that he walked away from Joe Biden because he believes in truth. And he realized Joe Biden couldn't be president of the United States. We don't believe you, dude. Just like what she's doing in this crazy talk, you just have to stop. And we'll just play some more audio coming up, but it's pretty funny. All right, in just a little bit, we'll get to some of the stories here in the state of Florida. Michelle Vesarina's following all the news that's in the newsroom right now. Top of the news coming up in just a bit. This small Florida city ranks among the nation's best places to retire. Do you think you know the city in the state of Florida that ranks top or tops in the top? Well, I have it for you coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flip De Niro. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand?
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. We're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Wow, so much is happening on Capitol Hill. There's a lot of breaking news that's going on. We're going to get to. That's what I love doing. That's why I love doing this shift, this time, 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. There's so much news that's breaking, and we get to bring it to you fresh each and every day. So we'll have a bunch of that coming up. Also, what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom? We call this Top of the News.
Top of the News, Florida's headlines. Now.
And in the Florida's Voice newsroom, we got Michelle Vesarina. She's got the latest for us. What's up?
Hey, Drew. Hey. We've got good news for your wallet. But first, that congressional race in District 6 has Democrats putting up a fight with early voting. The special election is just days away, and the race here is between Randy Fine and Josh Wheel. Early voting numbers crunched by Florida's Voice show that Democrats are putting up a fight. Yes, that is a GOP-heavy district, and yes, President Donald Trump is endorsing Randy Fine, but the Democrats are mailing in their ballots and heading to the polls early. Republicans in that district are showing a 5-point lead, so Randy Fine appears to have the advantage, but it does look like the Republicans are underperforming. By the way, that district covers Flagler, Lake, Marion, Putnam, St. Johns, and Volusia counties. Joseph Ladapo is being considered as a potential candidate for the Centers for Disease Control. This comes after former Congressman Dr. Dave Weldon's nomination was retracted. Both Ladapo and former Texas Congressman Michael Burgess are being eyed for the role. The White House pulled back on Weldon, who didn't seem to have enough support from Republicans. Governor Ron DeSantis is already endorsing the idea, posting to his social media that Ladapo, quote, has the courage and determination to do what is right when it's not easy.
Yep.
Ladapo has been Florida's Surgeon General since 2021 and reconfirmed to his post again by DeSantis in 2023. He is an advocate for removing fluoride from water systems and recommends people not take the COVID-19 mRNA vaccines. And finally, some good news for your wallet. Gas in Florida is 16% less than it was a year ago at this time.
Nice.
The average price for gas is $2.96. A month ago, it was $3.08. Now there are parts of Florida like South Florida and in the Big Bend region where prices are slightly higher than that, but in Southwest Florida and in the Panhandle, it's $2.90. And anytime we can save money, it's always a good thing. And that's it for now. Be sure to check out Florida's Voice for more content like this. We've got you covered for all things politics here and in Washington. I'm Michelle Besserina for Florida's Voice. Drew, back to you.
All right, Michelle, we appreciate you there in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories that we are following, you can go to flvoicenews.com. That's the website, and they are all right there. All right, the president just a little while ago taking questions from reporters and doubling down on calls for secure elections.
Easy to do it, and we should go to paper ballots. We should go to one-day voting. We should go to voter ID. And just one other thing, proof of a thing called citizenship in the United States. Wouldn't that be nice? How simple does that sound? Proof of citizenship, voter ID, one-day voting, and paper ballots. You know, paper ballots are very secure. They have watermark paper. It's very intricate stuff. It's very technologically advanced, even though it's paper. And you'd have no trouble. You wouldn't have dishonest elections, and you'd have them all done by 10 o'clock in the evening. You know, France went to that, and not that I want to copy anybody, but many others have also. And they had 38 million votes, and it was all done at 10 o'clock. They had a winner, they had a loser. That was it. Nobody was complaining.
Sounds like Florida a little bit. I'm just saying
And they had it backed up with paper, and it's...
I mean, not the paper part, but but when we finish counting all the votes there.
It's so easy to do. The other thing, you'd save about, this would cost you about 8% of what the machines cost.
So he's got Speaker Johnson and is it the governor of Louisiana who's standing with him as they're talking about this? All right, let's go. Let's get Speaker Johnson. Let's get the House. Let's get Congress working on this. Let's get something going here. What are we doing? Let's work on this. You know, it's interesting that the president brings this up today because over the weekend there were some that were having a discussion about voting and what we should and shouldn't be doing and the things that we need to do and we don't need to do. So the president's talking about paper ballots and one-day voting and voter ID and proof of citizenship. But interestingly enough, in just a little bit, I want to play some audio of what they were talking about over the weekend with regard to this. And it's pretty interesting that the talk has been not only about what everybody else does, and I appreciate that the president says, look, we don't want to be like everybody else, and he's right. And then also how there were others, MSNBC to be exact, that were saying we don't need any of that. Like, you're here in the country, you're standing on terra firma, all right, you're good. No, I'm not kidding. Why would they do that? Why would they be talking about that? Interesting. All right. Maybe we need a little bit more of a civics lesson. Maybe we need people to go out and read. Maybe we need people to go to their local public library and find it. Well, not every public library. State Representative Bernie Jacques is joining us right now on Florida's Voice, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because something's going on in Largo that I'm a little concerned about, and we always love having him on the program anyway. It's great to see you again. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Drew. Thanks for having me. Great transition, by the way. Well done.
Well, I appreciate that. I have to tell you, when I think about the libraries and I'm thinking, all right, well, we're in Florida, right, sir? Everything's fine. I mean, when it comes to some of the radical gender ideology and the things that are going, I mean, we're not still talking about this, but apparently we are. And what's going on at the Largo Public Library?
Yeah, it's truly a shame because when people think about the free state of Florida and what we've been able to accomplish during these past few years under the leadership of Governor DeSantis and a strong conservative legislature, a lot of people would assume that we've rooted out all indoctrination in every area of our society. But you do have some radicals who are hell-bent on advancing their indoctrination, especially when it comes to children. And I learned that this was happening in my own backyard, in my own district, in the city of Largo, at the Largo Public Library, where they had these displays on sexual identity, LGBTQ, gender ideology, all of that, in the children and teen section of the library, prominently displayed year-round. And I sent a letter to the city so that they can correct this. It's wrong.
So what can we do about this? What would you like to see done?
Well, what I'd like to see done is the city to come up with a resolution and enact a specific policy specifically stating that the library is not allowed to do this. This is exactly what we did in our schools here in Florida when we passed the Parental Right in Education bill that basically stood for the simple proposition that these themes are best discussed in the home with parental supervision that is within the purview of parents, not government-sponsored programs to indoctrinate the youth. And so I would like the city commission and the mayor to take action to state the policy in a very clear way that this is not appropriate for children, period.
So if they decide that they don't want to respond to this at all, I mean, we're talking about a public library. Do we have, I mean, I'll just say it. I mean, do we have the ability to withhold state funds? I mean, is there anything like that that could be a possibility with this? I mean, what would be the next remedy there?
We do. And in my letter, I specifically mentioned that. Look, it's their prerogative, right? They're elected just like I am. They have constituents to answer to just like I do. And they can make their own decision. Well, I can also make my own decision. In my role as state representative who represents the entire city of Largo, I can make my own decision to not support and to work against any state funding that would go towards the city, not only for library purposes, but any kind of future appropriations. I will make a point to make it conditional upon this indoctrination being rooted out of the children and teen section of that library. Enough is enough. Yeah. They need to get with the program. They need to read the room. Florida has been taking on these issues, and we cannot have a lone library holdout in our district, in a conservative area, mind you. I'm winning these elections by near 20 points. So is Governor DeSantis. The community, if you look at the electorate, is with us on this issue. They're not with these few radicals who seek to indoctrinate our children. It needs to stop.
And that's the key point. And I think that's something that's not just an issue in Largo, but it's an issue that we have to look at all across the state and be aware of. Just be vigilant when it comes to people who just will not do what whether it's living in a certain municipality in a certain area. They're not reading the room. They have no intention on reading the room. And there are some people that just don't want to follow the rules and the laws, let alone do things within the community where they feel like, you know what, I'm doing it anyway. I don't care what people say or what they think. And we have to be cautious of that as well.
You're absolutely correct. And it's so easy for municipal governments to fly under the radar, right? When you think about the things we're focused on, we focus on what's happening in Washington, D.C. Some people focus on what's happening in Tallahassee and maybe at the county level, but a lot of times what's happening in City Hall flies under the radar. And that is one of the things that every citizen, every voter has to be on guard about, because some of these radical policies can occur right under your nose in your own public libraries while you think the state has it under control. Look at every level of government. And this is something that I'm going to be very involved in.
Yeah, and it's okay. You know, it's all right to ask questions to see what is going on. You know, it's a shame that we have to be in this kind of environment. It would be nice if we can live in the world that we would like it to be, not the one that is. And the one that is listen, we have to be cautious. We have to be vigilant. I don't want to say suspicious, but we do have to be vigilant in keeping an eye on what is going on within our communities. You know, and like you said, and I think it's so important that, you know, sometimes you can focus too much on the national level, and that's great, and you keep an eye on that. It's important. But the state level and the local, you know, that's where it's at. And that's where things happen. That's where things turn when you least expect it. It's that person that gets elected, let's just say, and doesn't think the way the community thinks, and they have you believing that there's somebody that they're not, right? Or somebody in a library who's just like, I'm not going to pay attention to the community. This is my library, and I'm going to do what I want. I mean, I don't know what the attitude is there, but it sure feels that way. Like, I'm just going to do what I want. You have to be careful of that, because that's the world that we live in.
Absolutely. Look, the public library is not some personal fiefdom of some municipal bureaucrat. Right. The public library belongs to us all. It's taxpayer funded. It's supposed to be reflective of the community and not hijacked by a radical set of individuals who seek to indoctrinate children. Let these conversations happen within the home and with parents and legal guardians. That's where it's needed, and that's fine, but it should not be government sponsored.
Right. Can we have you come back and we can get an update on this story? And I'd like to keep an eye on this and see what's happening, and then have you back so we can talk about this some more, among other things. But certainly, I know you're busy. You got a lot going on, but I would love to keep an eye on this story. So we'd love to have you back.
Absolutely, Drew. I always love coming on.
All right. Well, I appreciate you so much. We're going to run, but thanks so much for joining us on Florida's Voice. All the best. God bless, and look forward to the next time we have a conversation, okay?
All right. Thanks, Drew.
All right. We'll see you soon. That is State Representative Bernie Jacques, who's doing some amazing work there. And listen, there are people that are going to promote radical gender ideology, sexual ideology. They're going to do this regardless, because they just don't want to follow what it is that the community believes, what in some cases what the laws are in the state. They want to. I brought this story up multiple times where there were schools that were talking about taking books and moving them into different areas of the libraries. Not even removing the books. We're not talking about book banning. We're just making sure that they're age appropriate and they're in the right places where they should be appropriately. And there were people in communities that were putting stacks of let's just say questionable books in these take a book, leave a book boxes, telling people on social media that don't you worry about it. We'll make sure you can get these books, and we're going to put a ton of them in there, and you can take as many as you want. And they put them in these boxes. Like, they just have to. Like, the radical left just has to do this. They've got to force their ideology. And that's what it becomes. It's, again, it goes back to, if the community wanted this, it's one thing, but they don't. And they have a hard time taking no for an answer. Why is that?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned
about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hi, I'm George Foreman, and this is my lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine. I'd really gotten popular on Madison Avenue. We'd done Doritos, McDonald's, and Meineke. Every commercial there was, we made a lot of money. People would pay you a lot of money to do a commercial. But then after a period of time, they move on to someone else. And finally, a friend of mine said, George, you're making all these other companies wealthy. Why don't you get your own product? And we looked around and found the grill. No one wanted to be bothered with it at all. They had names for it, jokes for it. But I took it and they said, try that. And I didn't want to use it, but my wife insisted. She said, it works, George. And the grease really rolled off and it's still tender. I ate it. I said, boy, let's do it. I never expected it to be so successful. And then all of a sudden, the checks just started rolling in. This thing sold over 100 million.
You end up being bought out for something like $140 million. At one point, checks were coming in for upwards of like $4 million monthly.
$5 million.
Wow. That is the voice of George Foreman, one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time, passed away. Age of 76. Wow, young. And just, Dee, did you ever watch any of George Foreman's fights? Did you see anything?
Highlight clips. I've never seen a full fight.
Oh, I can't even describe, winning Olympic gold in 68 and then turning pro and then Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton. And you can go right down the line. Evander Holyfield, like I think it was 1991. I forget. But just incredible. And obviously, people know the George Foreman grill, $5 million a month at one point he was making off the grill. One of those people, just bigger than life, right? And when you hear him speak, you just feel like, wow, just, I don't know, just joy and energy.
Just seemed like a very fun guy.
Yeah, incredible. And what a boxer. And I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was a moment when he was fighting Muhammad Ali and like he hit him with everything he had. And Muhammad Ali like clutches him and whispers in his ear and says, "Is that all you've got?" It's like, oh, can you imagine if you just an amazing boxer with a punch that could just knock anybody. I think he had 68 knockouts, 71 fights, 68 knockouts. And you hit Muhammad Ali with everything you have, and the guy says, "That all you have?" Like, talk about deflating. At that point, it's big enough. The fight is big enough. And just to have that happen, but just incredible moments. And was just somebody who loved to watch him fight. George Foreman, who passed away 76 on Friday. One of the greatest heavyweights in the history of boxing, no doubt. All right, what else is going on here as we're following some of the news stories today here at Florida's Voice? I don't know if I have enough time to play this. I don't. I'll wait until the next hour to play it. But there's this push of from the left that you cannot tell me is resonating. Like Ellie Mistel, who's got a book out, who's a crazy lefty, who's on MSNBC, who's trying to tell everybody, trying to tell the people there this morning that everybody should vote. What did he say exactly about voting?
Okay, so like what?
Well, we could eliminate all voter registration laws.
Eliminating all registration voting laws.
See, when Democrats get in charge, we try to protect voting rights. We don't make voting easier. Now, I'm all for voter eligibility requirements. We might disagree about what those requirements should be, but I'm going to say that there should be an age limit to vote. I might say 16, you might say 18, but I'm not going to say 8.
They have this weird notion about vote. It's just funny that he was talking about it this weekend and then the president brought it up a little while ago. I don't know, maybe we'll explore a little more of this coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it. No way.
No way. No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutVaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on the show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's ahead of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on, and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping to keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D's on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And many who are listening on radio stations across the state of Florida, we do appreciate it. 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. Coming up, we'll hit on some Florida news and some of the things that are going on. A city here in the state of Florida that we are broadcasting from. And as a matter of fact, this small city ranks among the nation's best places to retire. And those people that are in that city are listening to the sound of my voice right now because we are on one of their great affiliates. So we got to mention that coming up. Do you think you know which city it is? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. We'll talk about it in just a second. Boy, there's a lot of breaking news. All right. So let me get to this because I think this is interesting. I'm trying to put a different spin on this. Not something I was planning on talking about, but I noticed this popped up from the State Department in a press briefing that was taking place. And do you remember before the show or during the show, when we saw war plans popping up on social media? I think it was before.
That was just before we were rolling.
Right. And we're trying to figure out, all right, well, what is this? What's going on here? And we come to find out that someone from The Atlantic, a left-leaning website, was texted plans in a group chat on Signal, a secure app. I guess there were a few people that were talking, Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio, and I believe Mike Waltz was on that. J.D. Vance was on there as well. And they were talking about the plans to attack the Houthis. I didn't realize that was what the war plan was, and I'll explain a little more in just a second. But the big hubbub, if you will, was that the Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans, according to Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic. Now, I'm just going to try to spin this in a different way, because the first reaction was everybody on social media, and you can go there right now, and it's still there, incompetence, war plans, and you have all of these left-leaning people who are going crazy, putting it out there saying, I can't believe that they did this. Can you believe it? Can you believe this happened? Can you believe that they're this incompetent? I mean, Pete Hegseth has someone from The Atlantic, I guess, as part of this text chain. And I don't know the details. We haven't heard all the details yet. The State Department had a comment on this. I'm sure the White House will have a comment on it soon enough. But Dee, remember what I said to you when we first started the program earlier? And I said, something smells here. Like, are you telling me that Pete Hegseth, or like somebody had a person from The Atlantic as part of this text chain? Does that make sense? Like, you would put...
It's almost like you went to go create a group message, and instead of Drew, they wrote Derek instead really quick without checking, the first letter of the D. Is that a thing here? I don't know.
Or what if it's something else? You ready? Follow my spin here. All right, so here is the State Department spokesperson who's being asked by Andrea Mitchell just a little while ago about this issue. Listen to this.
Yes, Andrea Mitchell. Thank you very much, Tammy. I know the administration has always been concerned about operational security for military actions and others, things that are classified. Mm-hmm. There has been an unprecedented, to my experience, breach of operational security by a public dissemination on Signal of plans for the Houthi attacks and discussions about those plans that included it has been confirmed by the National Security Council.
Okay, so it's been confirmed. Like this did happen. All right, D, follow my, because I need you to be the ombudsman on this. I'm just trying to put a spin on it. So okay, follow this. So the Houthi attack plans, right?
These included the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, on this Signal chat over a course of several days. And we should note that Mr. Goldberg did not publicize any of the classified members, CIA people who were on this chat, nor any of the classified information on the ultimate day.
Okay, so none of the information came out. He didn't post anything on the ultimate day. Nothing came out, right?
2 hours before the attacks took place.
2 hours before the attacks took place. So he had the information 2 hours, think about this, hours before the attack took place, but decided not to do anything.
He thought he was being punked, that it was some sort of a trap, but eventually notified the White House about this. And the White House has confirmed that it's authentic. Secretary Rubio was part of all of these conversations. First of all, why was the cabinet secretaries in the National Security Cabinet discussing a potential military operation on Signal, which is a public app? And why didn't they notice a phone number that was not part of their group? And how concerned is the secretary about the implications of this?
Right? All crazy. And so Tammy Bruce, who's the State Department spokesperson, says,
well, I have two very short things to say to you. First is that we will not comment on the Secretary's deliberative conversations. And secondly, that you should contact the White House.
That's it, right? That's all she said. Again, I'm trying to put a spin on this. I could be totally off base. I could be totally wrong. If I'm wrong, I would admit it. I don't have any problem telling people that I've made a mistake, I'm wrong. But this is all speculation, and this is just Drew Steele talking, my personal opinion, just something that I'm ruminating on. And okay. All right. You ready, D?
I'm ready.
There was a moment where she said he was being pumped or it was a trap. What if that's what it was? In other words, 2 hours before, you're on this Signal app. You've got you're talking about this, and granted, it's all serious. But what if you wanted to root out people who might be, let's just say, spilling the beans? Let's just say people who leak stuff. One way to do it would be to have a conversation, and maybe it wasn't as detailed as as is being described, or maybe it was different than what was being described. But if you were going to root out people who might be leaking sensitive information, and you're concerned that there may be people on your line, so to speak, what better way to do it than this, to find out the lefty that would possibly want to or not have a problem with spilling the beans on certain things that the Trump administration's doing, because you can't trust anybody. Following me?
I follow. That's out there.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, it is horrible. I mean, what happened, but again, that's the world we live in. Not the world you want to live in, but the world that we do live in is, look, you can't trust anybody. There's too much of the swamp. There's too much of the left that's infiltrated. There's too many people that have an interest in trying to bring Trump down, trying to destroy this presidency, trying to not have him in office. I'm just saying that there are people that would like this administration politically to not any longer be in existence, the political side of it. And what better way to find out about some that could be trouble and root them out than this? as long as it wasn't sensitive, as long as it wasn't mission critical information that was given. I'm just trying to spin it. Just trying to spin it, D. That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking the question. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying.
It's always a possibility you are correct.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's out there.
It is.
But I would not put it past them.
You have to. That's where we live. I mean, listen, right now, as we speak, somebody has to be funding all of these crazies that are destroying, vandalizing incendiary devices at Tesla dealerships. Did the president say he thinks he's got an idea?
More than anything else, he's never think of it. He has never asked me for a thing. He could have. I always say, I wonder if he's ever going to ask me for something. And that's always subject to change. And if it does change, I'll let you know about it. But Elon has never asked me for a thing. I mean, I got rid of the electric car mandate. I have no idea how that affects him, but possibly not good. I don't know. But he's never asked me for a thing. And I think that's an amazing tribute. I did get activated last week when I saw what they were doing. I said, he makes an incredible product, and we're going to go out and tell people you can't do that stuff and support him. They got to support him, because if he wasn't doing this, he wouldn't have any of these difficulties. And I think it's getting less and less. Pam has done a great job with regard to all of the, I mean, I know the kind of investigations that are going on. If she finds them, which she will, she already found 4 of them. She will. But I think they're going to suffer very grave consequences, because they're really terrorists when you think about it. They're terrorists at a high level. And I think the people that are financing them, they could very well be people I know, people that you write about. But those people are in big trouble.
Ooh. Whoa. People you write about and people I know funding all of this. Look, I'm just saying that we live in spicy times, crazy times. I don't know how you want to put it, but man, that, again, what has been happening with the left is just outrageous. And I'm sure that the country's thinking, we need more of the left. As a matter of fact, I wish AOC was the president of... I'm sorry, I just threw him up in my mouth there a little bit. Hold on. Well, AOC and Bernie, they're doing this, hey, why don't you vote for us next go around because you like us, right? Tour, I think. Here's AOC just a little while ago today, who was on the Fight Oligarchy. And people are like, what's an oligarchy? But it doesn't matter. AOC's there, along with Bernie or whatever. And here she is talking to a crowd earlier today.
Because the same billionaires who are taking a wrecking ball to our country derive their power from dividing working people apart. They specialize in getting us to turn against one another.
They do? We are? Which billionaire? Who's doing that?
Along lines of left and right, race and gender, creed and culture.
Huh, right. Okay, so she's saying that there are others, billionaires, that are trying to divide us like left and right. I mean, and we have to be better than that, right? We should denounce that. We should say no. Going against the left and right, for example. We shouldn't be doing that. We're all Americans, right?
And it's all to keep us distracted, because the last thing they want is for us to realize that the real division and the real harm in this country is how endless greed is costing the lives of everyone else.
Okay, no, let it go on. Let it go on. This is AOC at this Fight Oligarchy event.
Abolishing the Department of Education, where kids with disabilities are able to get special education.
Wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. I thought we weren't bashing the left and the right. I thought we weren't going to do that. And that was really strange. So she's at a Fight Oligarchy, and we're supposed to be fighting the oligarchy and the billionaires, and they're dividing us. But those evil Republicans are destroying the Department of Education. Like, no, that's not how this works. All right. I wonder what Bernie thinks about AOC. By the way, Bernie was asked about AOC. Well, obviously he loves her, thinks she's fantastic. But you can't go too far in the conversation because ABC and Jonathan Karl over the weekend. Did you see this? Doing an interview asking about AOC, and they're talking about her.
Back when I first came to the Congress and the House, I helped form the Progressive Caucus. We had 5 people in it at that time. Now they got close to 100. So you got a whole lot of good people. Alexandria is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress.
What has she done? What work? What is she doing? She's done something?
And she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her join in the Senate?
Right now, we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
Well, I asked you.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense? Do nonsense.
No.
So Bernie Sanders, he asked her about AOC to see her in the Senate, and Bernie's like, "Oh, you want to play nonsense? Goodbye." He gets up and walks away. And Jonathan Karl's like, "Wait a minute, why are you going someplace? Because sit down. I just want to ask you another question." And he's like, "Well, you're going to do this nonsense?" And he's like, "Okay, well, how about this?"
I mean, I want to ask you about your future. This is the biggest crowd. You said you ran for president twice. This is the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Are we going to see you run again? Or what's your future?
No, right now, I am very proud that the people of the state of Vermont sent me back to the Senate with 63% of the vote. Right now, I'm Vermont senator. That's what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years of age, so. And I'm tired.
Yeah, you're
I am sick and tired.
Well, it could be that too. Anyway, so there's Bernie, who was asked about AOC possibly being a senator, and he storms off, and he's like, "You want to play this nonsense?" And Jonathan Karl, ABC, is like, "Well, no, what happened? What did happen? Why did he walk away?" Well, they talked about it afterwards on ABC.
AOC running for Senate.
Well, it's obviously a sensitive subject because he is on Chuck Schumer's leadership team. And so, if he goes out there and endorses a primary challenge to Schumer, I mean, that would be a total bloodbath. But look, the bloodbath is already happening. I mean, people are calling for Schumer to step aside.
So that's what the problem is. So people were like, why did Bernie get so upset? I mean, I don't understand what Bernie's problem was that he got up and...
Are you supportive of these onesies?
Yeah, he got up and walked in. You want to play games? You want to be nonsense? Well, wait, I was just asking about AOC in the Senate because Bernie's like Schumer's guy and together. And if AOC was going to run for Senate, it'd be against Schumer. And he doesn't want to pick sides. But he's out there campaigning, not campaigning with her, but he's out there with this fight oligarchy, which, by the way, we come to find out that a lot of it's astroturf, basically, that the people that are showing up at these events are like people who are paid that are showing up at all kinds of Democrat events and rallies and how crazy they get. So there's a bunch of that. The Department of Education thing is pretty funny. How she talked about the Department of getting rid of that. It's the kids with disabilities. What are you talking about? Well, the monies. Well, we've already discussed this. The money's just going to go to a different department, and the monies that were there still going to be there. We've talked about this many times. Everybody's going to have some money's going to go to the SBA. Some money's going to RFK Jr. and going to be part of what is Health and Human Services. So nobody's losing money. But we got to do better with education. Seriously, we have to do better with education. Who was it? Caitlin Bennett, who was out during the spring break. I think she was here in the state of Florida, combing the beaches, talking to the youths of America here in spring break, and just asking simple civics questions. And
what we've heard.
And was just kind of walking around. And do I have that audio? No, I don't have that audio. Oh, I thought I had that audio. Is it?
Who did the colonists fight in the Revolutionary War?
Oh, God. In the Revolutionary War?
It was, I don't know if this is right. I mean, it sounds so stupid. Was it the Spanish? Wait, what are your majors?
Business. Biology.
Okay. Elementary education. Oh. What shape is the U.S. Pentagon building?
Isn't it just a square?
How many U.S. senators are there?
6, 7. 6, 7.
2 for each state. How many amendments are in the Bill of Rights?
There's a lot. I know 17.
Who won the Civil War?
Oh, shoot, it's East or West, right?
Well, it's the Civil War, so it's the civilians versus whoever was in power.
How many justices are on the Supreme Court?
Justices. So like when you say that, like you mean like the FBI?
Who is on the $100 bill?
Oh, I know.
Abraham Lincoln?
Nope.
Abraham Lincoln. Come on, bro.
That's the First Amendment. What's the second?
Right to vote.
Name 3 states that border Canada. We'll just do one per person.
Asia.
I didn't know Canada had a border.
Hey, is there anything we could do about it? I'm just wondering. I mean, I'm thinking, maybe we might want to work on that a little bit. Department of Education, maybe kick it back to the states. Could work on that a little bit. Be kind of nice. I mean, in 1980, Ronald Reagan was talking about it.
I would like to dissolve the $10 billion National Department of Education created by President Carter and turn schools back to the local school districts where we built the greatest public school system the world has ever seen. I think I can make a case that the decline in the quality of public education began when federal aid became federal interference.
Yep. I would agree. All right, what else do we have? All right, how about this? Real quick before we head to break, I was talking about this, teasing this up a little bit. I saw this in the Tampa Bay Times. This small Florida city ranks among the nation's best places to retire. City of about 11,000, has a slower pace, but still boasts activities for retirees to enjoy, according to Travel and Leisure magazine. What city is that? You think you know what it is? Well, they're listening right now to the sound of my voice as we broadcast each and every day, 3 to 6 p.m. in Sebring. The small city, yes, you, Sebring, ranks among the nation's top 50 places to retire, according to results published on March 11th. So they partnered with a financial website using data from the government and other sources, studied counties across the country. Each place was evaluated across 4 metrics that may appeal to older adults: cost of living, access to travel, access to healthcare, access to entertainment. And they looked around and they said, you know what? Sebring is a really, really nice place to retire. A lot of fun, a lot of good things to do, cost of living and access to travel and more. And was the only place in the Sunshine State to earn a spot on the list. Really? Huh. Okay. You won't find bustling nightlife or too many attractions in Sebring, but don't count this Florida town out just yet. Travel and Leisure wrote, in fact, it's exactly this slower pace paired with a low cost of living makes it one of the best places to retire in the Southeast. All right. I like that. So tops Sebring is. All right, when we come back, we'll have the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's the 5 at 5:35. We do it each and every day. And then we'll have more. In the state of Florida, we'll have more on some of the breaking news that we've got out there on the way. My name is Drew Steele, and this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is if you're talking about recording for bands or producing, music, jingles. He does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipped an Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook, we do appreciate it. And it is 5:35, so that means it is time for the top 5 audio clips of the day. There's a lot of them. It was tough. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
We're going to keep arresting TDA members. We're going to keep arresting MS-13 members. We're going to keep arresting public safety threats all this nation. Now, when it comes to the Alien Enemies Act, if we're going to remove them through that act, we won't have to wait for litigation. We'll simply detain them. But we're going to take them off the streets. And anybody can remove through Title VIII, we'll remove through Title VIII, which is the order of an immigration judge. But we'll obey the court's order. But I think DOJ, I think eventually will win that order. Then it's game on. But until then, we're going to keep doing what we're doing and taking these public safety threats, especially TDA and MS-13 members off the street across this country. It's a 24/7 operation, and we're going to continue to do that.
So on Larry Kudlow's program on Fox, and he was asking the border czar, Tom Homan, what he's going to do about deportations. What happens if these crazy leftist judges are just like, you got to stop? He's like, well, ultimately, no matter what, we're going to detain them. We're going to take them off the streets. No matter what. So I just love that he's so hyper-focused on keeping this country and communities safe. And it's like, we're going to keep people safe. You want to know what we're going to do? We're going to keep people safe.
Number 4.
How did you convince Hyundai to come to your great state? How did you convince them to come to Louisiana?
It was easy. I told them we were going to have a great president this year, right? Look, I think that this is Americans seeing the America First policy in action, right? It's not just promises, it's about action. And not only and I appreciate their patience, because all last year, many of these legislators, the Speaker and the Senate President, we worked on making Louisiana as friendly for business as the President is making America. We worked on public safety. We worked on educational reform, which the President's been working on.
That is the governor of the great state of Louisiana. That is Jeff Landry, who, when asked by the press and the 20 million or 20 billion? It's a big money. I want to say $20 billion investment. Hyundai is making their way to Louisiana, going to invest a lot of money and cars and car parts and a lot of things that are going to be coming back. And in this case, Hyundai coming to the great state of Louisiana. And how'd you convince him? He's like, it's easy. Said we're going to have a great president, so don't you worry about it. Yeah, he was right.
Number 3.
30 seconds left. Oh, he's to the left this time. He's sliding off. Oh, we're going to get big here. On the high crotch. And he's running down. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can you believe this? Hendrickson with the 3. Gave him a little hustle. The Olympic champ is about to lose. It's 13 seconds. This could be it. Oh, my goodness. The biggest upset in the history of the NCAA. Could this be it?
Wow. I don't know if you saw this, but the president last week said, yeah, he's going to go to the NCAA wrestling tournament that was going on. And he wanted to be there as someone he knew and was rooting for, the OSU wrestler Wyatt Hendrickson. He was going to be there wrestling for the title. And not only does Trump show up and get a thunderous applause and welcome at the NCAA wrestling championships, but Wyatt Hendrickson, second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force, not only wins, but after he wins one of the biggest upsets, as they said, in NCAA Division I wrestling history, he looks over towards the president and salutes him and shakes his hand. It's like, wow, just awesome to see. And the call from the NCAA was kind of crazy, too. It was pretty exciting.
Number 2.
As far as we are hearing a lot about fraud, waste, and abuse, a lot of waste and abuse, but there is a tremendous amount of fraud. And Elon, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your team. You have uncovered so much fraud in our government, and we will prosecute you. We have an internal task force now working with every agency sitting here at this table. And if you've committed fraud, we're coming after you. Thank you, Elon, for that.
That is Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, who today at the cabinet meeting that the president had, and sending a warning to those who committed fraud that DOJ has uncovered. And she's like, oh, we got an internal task force. We're working with every agency sitting at the table. And if you've committed fraud, we're coming after you. All right, well, let's go get him.
Number 1.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. I think, and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder. But, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, this dude has to be knocked over the head, hard, right? There is no niceties with him, at all. You go clean off on him, right?
No, not right. That's Democrat Jasmine Crockett from Texas, Democrat. May I remind you, it's a Democrat who, when talking about Ted Cruz and politically how Democrats win in Texas, you got to hit him over the head. You got to punch. I never heard, politically speaking or rhetorically, all I heard was punching and hitting over the head. It's no.
Drew's top 5.
No. We're not doing that. But it has to be knocked over the head hard, and you go clean on it. What? Why? What do you? Yeah, this is. It feels too often like it's the Democrats' MO.
You won't know what hit you.
Yeah, okay. Chuck Schumer talking to Justice Kavanaugh. You'll feel the whirlwind, and you know what hit you. And Maxine Waters, and you show up where they're eating at their restaurants, and you don't let them eat. It's and at the end of the day, all you have to do is convince people in the United States of America that your policies, your socialist, Marxist, leftist policies, prove me wrong, are what everybody wants. That's all you have to do. And you can't, because people don't want what you're selling. And instead, the way you think you get what you want is, now, again, you give her the benefit of the doubt and you say, all right, look, she's just talking politically, hit her over the head, punch, and do. But you gotta say it, just because we live in crazy times. Isn't that right?
Are you supportive of these onesies?
Like I said, it's crazy times. So, and there's a generation of individuals who feel like they're entitled, to say these things is okay. And I don't know if it's Gen Z. I don't know if it's millennial. And I'll tell you what I mean. When you have a YouTuber that was arrested in New York, and I want you to listen to this news story. I don't know if you've heard this before, but there was a YouTuber arrested in New York, hit a cop with his car, and then drove off. And I want you to listen to, this is a minute of the news report on what happened here. And I can't even.
I have everything right here, and it's all been falsified. If anyone dares try to test my mental competence, I will eviscerate every single person with my intelligence right now. And that's not being egotistical.
Police paperwork says the pursuit started after Conover was going 55 in a 35. After 8 miles, Conover stopped, and an officer attempted to de-escalate the situation, but Conover allegedly drove at him and hit him in the leg and then sped off for another 28 miles.
Okay. You feeling like this is a problem so far? So this dude turns around, hits the cop in the leg with the car, and then speeds off. We got problems here.
Our Father who art in heaven.
The paperwork says the officer was thrown 40 feet, suffering a leg injury. Conover is facing several charges, including attempted murder.
Okay. Attempted murder charges, right? I mean, this is bad. Really bad.
Oh, thank God. Look at me.
Today in court, Conover was outspoken, claiming that he's a public figure because of his nearly 3 million subscribers on YouTube, and saying this was part of a, quote, police sting against him.
Okay. What does that have to do with anything? So the talk on social media was that this YouTuber arrested, attempted murder, turning around, running into a cop, and then trying to run away. And we can't arrest him because he's a famous YouTuber. Big D, are you there? I don't know if you're there or not. Okay, you're there. Okay. Is that a new thing now? That if you're famous enough, and you attempt to hit a cop with your car because you're a famous YouTuber, you got to let him go.
It shouldn't be.
Is there a world, a universe, anywhere where that would be accepted behavior?
Maybe in a Democrat-run city?
Could be. I mean, in a Democrat, lefty, progressive-run world, maybe if you're super famous, we let you go with crazy stuff like that, like attempted murder. But I don't think that's how we do things here right now. And so when I say about the entitled, I worry about how somebody gets that in their head. Like, how do they think that's a thing? Where does that come from? Where does it come from that somebody like George Clooney can go on to 60 Minutes and try to convince people that he knew the whole time that Joe Biden was not able to be the president of the United States because he believes in the truth? You know, it's
happy did it?
Yeah. I'll make it kind of easy. I was raised to tell the truth. I had seen the president up close for this fundraiser, and I was surprised. And so I feel as if there was a lot of profiles in cowardice in my party through all of that. And I was not proud of that. And I also believed I had to tell the truth.
What planet, what universe do you live in where you, George Clooney, after dropping your support for Biden, thought that he was fine up until the moment you saw him with Obama at that fundraiser, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, this is bad. Like, in what world are people going to believe you that you just found out? Like, I had no idea until that moment in time. Like, there was no other indication. None.
True international average of pressure.
How about that one? Was that a thing for you? Did you? No? Nothing. Nothing.
A three-letter word. Jobs. Jobs.
And that was in the good times. Yeah. The way the world is right now, people feeling they're entitled, people thinking that they can go on to news programs and flat out lie to you, and you're going to be like, oh, I guess, well, he grew up with the truth. And so it was a good thing, and he backed away from Joe Biden. I mean, he didn't know. He had no idea until that very moment that he's like this. In your head, how did you do this? I'll give you one more example before we go, and I'll see if I have enough time for this. Like, there are people that want to convince you now that they always knew that, oh gosh, I don't have enough time. I got to say, and as a matter of fact, I don't even think I have enough time for this. And as much as I want to explore this, now I got to wait for tomorrow because this is deep. Let me just preface it by saying this. You'll want to hear this tomorrow. But over the weekend, Bill Maher, still a lefty, Bill Maher had Andrew Sullivan on from, I forget where he writes, but he's a big old lefty too. He was on there trying to convince people that, well, here, listen, I'll just play this little clip.
Questions. Andrew, what do you think of news that British intelligence knew COVID was a lab leak in 2020 and officially ignored their report?
Not just knew, aided a 95% certainty. Same with the German intelligence service. March 2020.
Like, they were shocked at this. Like, I can't believe that the British intelligence and German intelligence knew that it came from a lab in Wuhan. It was genetically engineered. It was gain of function research that was happening, and Anthony Fauci was at the center of this. And we knew this the whole time. We had the evidence at the time. There were plenty of people that were talking about COVID at the time in 2020. And these people are going onto these programs. These leftists are going onto programs right now and being like, shocked, can't believe it. This is an outrage. We needed to do something about this. Are you serious right now?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Very, very good cabinet meeting. We're on our way to some tremendous numbers. I think, first of all, many companies are now moving into the United States. They're coming back. Some of them left us from many years ago, decades ago, and they're all coming back. We have probably identified maybe $4 trillion worth of companies moving back or going to move back.
Wait a minute. That's the President of the United States during his cabinet meeting today when he said we probably identified maybe $4 trillion worth of companies moving back or going to move back. How did he do this? But wait a second. No, it can't be true. You know how I know it can't be true? I know it can't be true because there was a time not too long ago when Barack Obama, who was president of the United States, think about that. There was a time he was president, and it's funny how he became president, and all this crazy stuff started happening around the world, and things that were kind of weird. But anyway, Barack Obama, president of the United States, was like, well, it wasn't when he was president, but it was when he was helping to get out to help the vote of, I guess, for Joe Biden at the time, and trying to convince people that Donald Trump in no way, shape, or form was going to be able to do anything with regard to bringing bringing companies back to the United States.
And so what we have to do is to make sure that folks are trained for the jobs that are coming in now, because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back.
They're not coming back, everybody, remember?
And when somebody says,
yes,
like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for,
can talk about Donald Trump,
that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
Wait, I got it. Here's the magic wand. It's called tariffs. There's the magic wand. I just waved it. Look at that. There it is. Big D, look at me waving it's tariffs. Look at me waving the tariffs. See the magic wand? Isn't this cool?
I get it.
No, okay. Wow. You're not very kind. Sorry. Did I interrupt you? Were you in the middle of something? I thought the magic wand I thought it was funny.
It's funny with the noise playing when you're waving it around.
Okay. Thanks. Anyway, there it is. There's the magic wand. It's called tariffs. Well, I didn't know. How you going to do that? We just did it. Now what? Don't you feel silly? I was going to say don't you feel stupid, but we don't like calling people stupid. That's not good. Kids, don't call people stupid. And don't do drugs. And say no to any amendment that has to do with drugs or abortion. No, we don't want it. No good. No good. Full stop. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Look, thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. We do appreciate it. We are here each and every day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. across stations here in the state of Florida. We do appreciate we've been listening to Bernie Sanders too much. We appreciate all of you affiliates out there who have been listening to us and doing what you do.
This is what you do.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And if you miss any part of this program and you're like, hey, I'd like to listen to that once again, you can by going to my personal website. That's drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. You can go there and check out the show. It runs 24/7. It just loops and loops and loops. It's like a roller coaster with the loops in it. Not every roller coaster has a loop in it, but most of your finer roller coasters do. Wouldn't you say, D? Like the best roller coasters have the loops. That's what
the best ones have the loops.
Yeah,
yes.
You don't want the loopless ones. Maybe they should
a loopless roller coaster. Yeah, count me out.
Yeah, count me out. Exactly. That's what they should do. We should do some kind of petition here in the state of Florida that the theme parks must call roller coasters without loops loopless. No.
File it up.
No, it's a bad idea. See you tomorrow.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutVaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.